Okay, we'll start now. Hello, everybody. I'm Ananya Vishwanath from first year. So, today we are having our second lecture demonstration of this year. On behalf of Shrutilaya, the Classical Arts Club of BITS Goa, I welcome you, Carnatic vocalist Aditi B. Prahalad, to present this lecture demonstration. Before starting, let me give a brief introduction. Aditi B. Prahalad, who is a child prodigy, is a Carnatic vocalist. She has been trained under Vidwan Kamal Kumar, Sri Narahari Dikshit, and Vidwan Vinay Sharma. She has given more than 700 concerts and performances all across India and has been recognized by the government of Karnataka and by the Honorable President Sri Pranab Mukherjee. I'm very glad to have you here today. Over to Aditi B. Prahalad.
Hello. Uh, Thank you. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm sharing the screen. So, can you guys see this? Yeah. वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा Namaste and a very good evening to everyone. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Shrutilaya, the Music Club of Kids Pilani, for extending this wonderful opportunity to share some information that I know about Carnatic music with all of you. So, and I'm really thrilled and excited to be here today with music enthusiasts like you guys. So, as a lifelong student and a practitioner of Carnatic music, this art form has a very special place in my heart. So I've been very, very fortunate to have learned this art form from few incredible gurus of mine, and I've had a privilege of performing this Carnatic music on various noteworthy platforms as well. So during today's lecture demonstration, we will embark on a musical journey exploring the essence of Carnatic music. So we will delve into the foundations of this art, understand probably some unique elements that will make this music very captivating, and of course, I will present few compositions of the Trinities of Carnatic music, which will be the main topic for today: Sri Tyagaraja, Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar, and Sri Syama Shastri. So, and one more thing, throughout the session, I would like it to be interactive. So, if you have any questions while I'm presenting, so I'd be more than happy to answer that. So, you can stop me anywhere while I'm presenting. Um, Before I actually talk about the musical legacy of Trinity and their composing style and their compositions, I would like to go back and tell a few things about the roots and heritage of Carnatic music. So, as we delve into the heritage of Carnatic music, we find ourselves tracing to the footsteps of ancient sages and scholars who nurtured this divine art form, passing down its timeless wisdom through generations. So, I think it's the heritage that embraces both tradition and innovation. So, it's a delicate balance between the ancient principles and as well as the evolving expressions. This Carnatic music finds its mention in Vedas, that is mainly Sama Vedas. As you all know, there are four main Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Atharvana Veda, and the Sama Veda. So, music is said to be evolved from the Veda called Sama Veda. So, this reflects its profound spiritual connection as well. This origin is intricately woven into the devotional music that echoed through the temples, where the celestial sounds of bhajans and kirtans reverberated in the praise of the divine. So, we came to know about the root of Carnatic music, but it has various influences as it evolved through these years. So, the various influences may be the dynasties, cultural exchanges, and regional traditions as well. So, if you come to dynasties, a very famous example is the Mysore dynasty. So, while Maharaja Sri Jaichamarajendra Wadiyar was in the throne, so there were very noteworthy musicians and composers who was appointed as his court musicians. So, for example, we know Sri Mysore Vasudevacharya or Bidaram Krishnappa or Vinay Shishana. These are the very famous composers of Carnatic music in Karnataka, who have made their incredible contribution to the music by their unique style of composing the compositions. So this has resulted in a rich amalgamation of diverse musical elements as well. So the contributions of the medical saints and poets has further enriched the musical landscape, influencing the compositions, their philosophical depth, and heartfelt emotions as well. Coming to the Trinities of music, Sri Tyagaraja, Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar, or Sri Syama Shastri, they've marked a significant milestone in the heritage of Carnatic music and the structure that Carnatic music follows till date in all the concerts that all of us present. So it evokes different emotions, while talas is the rhythmic cycle that adds a pulsating energy while you're presenting a composition. So furthermore, if I can add, it's the manodharma sangeeta. That is, while you are presenting a kriti, you express or improvise the creativity in a spontaneous manner. So as we talked a few things about roots and who actually laid the foundation to this. He's composed various Devanamas. I'm sure you guys would have heard many of his Devanamas, like popular Devanamas like Jagadodharana, Krishna Baro, and things like that. So he was a saint composer and one of the most prominent figures in the history of Carnatic music. So he has played a very crucial role in structuring the foundation of Carnatic music education, and he has popularized the concept of music learning to the common masses. So he has not only revolutionized the way the music has to be taught and learned, but also before the music education was very limited. It was limited to like priestly and royalty circles. But after Purandaradasa came and he formulated this basics of Carnatic music, it was the systematic approach to the music education was introduced by him. It was accessible by almost all the people, and all of them could actually easily start learning and make themselves interested in Carnatic music.
I think Abhiram has a question.
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, are you changing the slides or something like that?
No,
Because
I haven't changed.
we thought it was a technical error from our side. Yeah, thank you.
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, uh, so yeah. So Purandaradasa, he revolutionized the way music was taught and learned. So before his time, music was limited, as I told, it was limited to a priestly and only royalty circles. But his systematic approach to the formulation of basics of Carnatic music has made it accessible to people from all walks of life. So many of them, started easily interested themselves in Carnatic music and they started learning Carnatic music. So he is credited with devising the initial framework of musical notation, which is known as Sarali Verse. So all of you might know. It is like Sari Gama Padani Sa Sari Da Pa Magari Sa Sari Gama Padani Sa Sari Da Pa Magari Sari Gama Padani Sa Sari Da Pa Magari Sa, and the next one Sari Gama Sari Gama Sari Gama Padani Sa Sari Da Pa Sari Da Pa Sari Da Pa Magari Sa. So while we start learning Carnatic music, all of us would have come across this. So the first lesson that we learn is the Sarale Verse. So these are the simple exercises which helps the beginners to grasp the fundamental swara. So this raga is called as Maya Malavola. And according to me, the reason why he chose Maya Malagada was the distance or the gap between the each swara in that raga is a little bit more. So it's easy to differentiate between each swara. So I think he chose Maya Malagoda raga for this. So he has also composed Dasar Padas and Devarnamas and so many kritis like that. So the main aspect in his composing would be he was deeply influenced with bhakti, the devotion while he was composing, and he conveyed the spiritual messages as well in his compositions. One such composition is Jagadodharana, as I said. So I'll just sing that. ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರನಾಮಕನೆಂದು ತಿಳಿಯುತ್ತ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರನಾಮಕನೆಂದು ತಿಳಿಯುತ್ತ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರನ ಮಗನೆಂದು ತಿಳಿಯುತ್ತ ಮಗುಗಳ ಮಾಣಿಕ್ಯನ ಆಡಿಸಿದಳೆ ಯಶೋದ ಮಗುಗಳ ಮಾಣಿಕ್ಯನ ಆಡಿಸಿದಳೆ ಶೋದ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರನ ಆಡಿಸಿದಳೆ ಶೋದ So this is one of the very popular compositions of Sri Purandaradasa. I think all of you might have heard this. So this composition is all about Krishna's mother, Yashode, and how she is, and her innocence in taking her son as her son and not seeing beyond it. So who has she is he's telling he's asking actually who has got that kind of boon and who has got that kind of fortune to be with Lord Krishna himself. And he explains that beautiful bond between Yashoda and Krishna in this composition. So, and one more aspect that can be highlighted in his composing is that the composing, the concept of Sankirtanas. So, it's a group of singers or a people who sing bhajans together. So, this group singing or community singing will not only promote musical learning, but also it promotes a sense of unity and the devotion among the participants. And one more very important thing that he emphasizes in his composition is the self-realization. So beyond music, his compositions encourage self-realization and the importance of leading a virtuous life. So explaining this, there's another composition of him in the raga called Purvi Kalyani. ಆದದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳಿತೇ ಆಯಿತು ಆದದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳಿತೇ ಆಯಿತು ನಮ್ಮ ಶ್ರೀಧರನ ಸೇವೆಗೆ ಸಾಧನ ಸಂಪತ್ತಾಯಿತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಳಿತೇ ಆಯಿತು ನಮ್ಮ ಶ್ರೀಧರನ ಸೇವೆಗೆ ಸಾಧನ ಸಂಪತ್ತಾಯಿತು ಆದದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳಿತೇ ಆಯಿತು ದಂಡಿಗೆ ಬೆತ್ತ ಹಿಡಿಯುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಂಡೆ ಮಾಚಿನ ಚುತಲಿದ್ದೆ ದಂಡಿಗೆ ಬೆತ್ತ ಹಿಡಿಯುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಂಡೆ ಮಾಚಿನ ಚುತಲಿದ್ದೆ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಸಂತತಿ ಸಾವಿರವಾಗಲಿ ದಂಡಿಗೆ ಬೆತ್ತ ಹಿಡಿಸಿದಳಯ್ಯಾದದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳಿತೆ ಆಗಿತು ತುಳಸಿ ಮಾಲೆ ಹಾಕುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಳಸಿ ಮಾಲೆ ಹಾಕುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಅರಸನಾಗಿನ ಚುತಲಿದ್ದೆ ತುಳಸಿ ಮಾಲೆ ಹಾಕುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಅರಸನಾಗಿನ ಚುತಲಿದ್ದೆ ಸರಸಿ ಜಾಕ್ಷಸಿರಿ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನು ತುಳಸಿ ಮಾಲೆ ಹಾಕಿದನಯ್ಯಾದದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳಿತೇ ಆಯಿತು.
Done. Manage broadcast will show up. Go ahead and click that button. And then here's a little window here. You have
So this is one famous composition that he's written, which gives the sense of self-realization. So what he tells, so most of his compositions are in Kannada. So all he tells in this composition is that what has happened in our life has happened for our good. So what belongs to you today might have belonged to someone else before, and which will belong to someone else in future. So he says a change is a rule of nature. So he's just emphasizing on how we should lead our lives and how we should be contented of what we have, basically. So this is about Sri Purandaradasa, who actually laid a strong foundation for Carnatic music. So next, I'll go to the main aspect of this leg 10. So it's the compositional aspects of Carnatic music. So there are quite innumerable types of compositions, out of which few are very, very frequently used in concerts. So I'll try to introduce some of them to you today. And also, as I explain these compositions, I'll also cover the contributions of Trinities and their composing styles of these compositions. So first, composition is called the Varnam. So in any Carnatic music concert, I would not say it to be a rule, but usually what we follow is we start the concert with a composition called Varnam. So it's a type of composition in Carnatic music which actually encapsulates all the key features of the raga in which it is composed. So it has various aspects and components among the compositions. So the first component of Varna would be the Pallavi and Anupallavi, followed by the Attugadeswara. So I will demonstrate a very simple Varnam, which is in Raga Mohana. It's called Bhoop in Hindustani. So it's in Adi Tala itself. So I'll just sing so that you get idea of how it's structurized. ನಿನ್ನು ಕೋರಿಯುನ್ನ ಮುರಳೀಕೀಲ ಲೋಕ ನಾಯಕನನ್ನುಪ ನಿಂದ ಸಮಯ ಮುರ ನಾಮೀದ ಕೃಪ ಚೂಡರದ ಗರಿ ಗರಿ ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ಸ ಗರಿ ಗ ಸರಿ ಸದ ಸರಿ ಗರಿ ಗ ಪ ಗ ಪದ ಗ ಪದ ಪದ ಸರಿ ಗರಿ ಗ ಸರಿ ಗ ಸ ಪದ ಸರಿ ಗ ಸದ ಪ ಗರಿ ಸರಿ ನಿನ್ನು ಕೋರಿ So basically this Varna has two parts. So the first part is called Purvangam and the second part is called Uttarartham. So the first part which I presented now has a Pallavi, Anupallavi and Etigadeswara. So what this Pallavi consists is the melodic and rhythmic foundation for the entire composition. So it covers all the key features of the raga that this composition has been associated with. So it also has the lyrical portion. So the lyrical portion will carry the theme or the main message on which the Varna is composed. So coming to the second part of the Varna, that is the Uttarartha. So it will have a charana, a common line which is sung every time as you sing the Muktaiswarams. So the Muktaiswarams, there will be 3 or 4 after the charanas. So after you sing each of the Muktaiswarams, we'll come back to the charana, sing the charana line, and then go back to the next Muktaiswara. So charana is basically it's a one-line lyrical thing that is sung before the Muktaiswara. So it allows the composer to actually explore the different aspects of the chosen raga or tala. So I'll sing the second part of the same Varna. Sannutanga Srinivasa Sannutanga Srinivasa Risa Rida Rida Sa Riga Sannutanga Srinivasa Gakkari Gari Sarika Parada Sarika Kada Pagarika Kasada Pagari Sannutanga Nivasa Padada Pagari Sari Gari Sada Sari Kapada Sada Pagari. You can observe in this the third swara that I sang now. So the last verse goes like Sari Kapada Sada Pagari. It is nothing but the scale of the raga Mohana or Bhu. So usually this Muktaiswarams, which we sing after the charanam, are presented in a variety of patterns. It might be ascending and descending scale of the raga. It can be different patterns of the raga that you can find, or the janti varisai that we learn in the basics of music. That aspect will also be carried out here. So these are the main components of the Varna, which I discussed now. So there are various composers who've contributed Varnas to the field of Carnatic music, namely Patnam Subramanya Iyer or Pallavi Gopal Iyer. There are many more, Pachamidiyam Adiyappa Iyer, and it goes on. So many of them have contributed many Varnas in many different ragas to Carnatic music. So next, I'll go to the next composition that we usually present in concerts is called the Kriti. So the word meaning of Kriti is just the creation or work, we can say. So it's the mental backbone of any typical Carnatic music concert, and it's a longer format of any Carnatic song that you come across. So, as I speak about Kritis, I'll just speak about the Trinities as well, who have contributed in a very immense manner in composing these Kritis. First, in the Trinities of Carnatic music, we have Sri Syama Shastri, Sri Tyagaraja, and Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar. So among these three composers, Syama Shastri is the eldest one. I'll not go deeper into their history, like their birthplace, and their childhood and all. So I'll just talk about their composing style and their uniqueness in composing. So before I actually talk about his compositions and his style of composing, I would like to narrate a very small, interesting story about how humble and how he contributed to the music. So it was a meeting between Sri Syama Shastri and one more legendary artist called as Bobbili Keshavaya. He was a talented musician and composer himself as well. So it is said that their encounter led to a musical challenge, and it was an unforgettable experience for both the musicians. So Bobili Keshavaya was a gifted musician, and he was known for his exceptional skills in music, and he had pride. He was proud of his abilities. So he actually boasted that no one could match his expertise in singing, and he portrayed himself to be the best musician of his time. So Sri Syama Shastri actually heard about Keshavaya's claims, and Syama Shastri was a very humble and deeply devoted composer. So what he did was he decided to meet Sri Keshavaya. So he traveled himself to Keshavaya's place, that is Bobili, and he sought an audience with Keshavaya. So when they finally met, Syama Shastri ji actually he showed great respect and admiration to whatever Sri Keshavaya presented and of his musical talents. While Keshavaya, on the other hand, he was very surprised of Syama Shastri's humble demeanor and lack of arrogance, despite being well-known composer himself. So he decided to put Syama Shastri's skills to test, and he challenged him to a musical competition. So the musical challenge commenced, and Sri Bobbili Keshavaya started singing with great confidence. And after his turn, Sri Syama Shastri started singing. He presented a very complicated composition called as Raga Tana Pallavi. It's one of the musical aspects, more on the creative side. It's a little bit complicated concept of Carnatic music. So he started presenting that in a very complex tala called Sharabhanandana. So the beauty and depth of Shastri's music, it far surpassed Sri Keshavaya's virtuosity and technical prowess. So realizing the extraordinary talent and spiritual depth of Sri Syama Shastri's composition, Sri Keshavaya was humbled. He bowed down to Syama Shastri and he acknowledged his greatness, and he surrendered to the profound impact of his divine music. So the meeting between Syama Shastri and Bobbili Keshavaya became a legendary event in the history of Carnatic music. So it actually shows the power of humility, devotion, and the ability of music to transcend the pride and the ego that might have been encountered in any artist. So this encounter can be a testament, I can call, to the greatness of Sri Syama Shastri as a composer and the transformative power of his music. So coming to his compositions were very devotional and soul stirring. So he exhibits his unique features and styles that sets him apart from other composers. So most of his compositions are in Telugu and some in Sanskrit as well. So he adores Kamakshi, deity Kamakshi, in all of his compositions. So the main unique elements that we can find in his compositions can be the exploration of any raga that he sets to his compositions. So he was a master of raga exploration. He has showcased his deep understanding of various ragas and his ability to bring out their unique characteristics as well. So apart from the kritis or the normal compositions which has Pallavi, Anupallavi and Charana that he has composed, One more major contribution of his is the three gems that is called Swarajatis, uh, which is on goddess Kamakshi again. It's in three beautiful ragas that he's given to Carnatic music. So, out of which the first one is set to raga called Bhairavi, which is in Mishra Chapu. So the way he explores and adores goddess Kamakshi in this composition, and the way he explores the raga in this composition is really, very extraordinary, and it's a very good exercise and to learn for us these Svarjatis. It's really good to learn. So I'll just sing a part of it. The way he has encompassed the Bhairavi in this composition is really interesting. Mm. Kamakshi amba anudinamu maravagane నీ పాదములెత్తికనుచునం మితి నీ శ్రీ కంచికామాక్షి. So this is the Pallavi part of it. So after the Pallavi, there are 8 different charanams that he has composed. So the scale of Bhairavi goes like this: sa ga ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. So in the ascending scale of this raga, there are 7 swarams, namely sarigama padanisa. So he started each of his charanam from one of these swaras in ascending order. So the first charana goes like sa ri ni sa ri ni ri sa ni da pa ma. So the second one ri ga sa ni ga ri sa ri. The third one ga ma ga ri sa ri ni sa ri ga ma. Fourth one ma pa ni da ma pa da pa. So he's done this from sa ri ga ma pa da till Sarigama Pada Nisa. So the last one is Sa Kari, the higher Sa, which we say while singing in the scale. Sa Kari Sari Sari Ni Dama Pada Ni Dani Sa Ni Sa Sari Sani Dapa Maga Magari Sani Sa Riga Maga Gama gari gari sa pama padani sa re ga ma gari gari sa re ni da pama gari gari kamakshi. So the way he has included all the major sangatis of Bhairavi, that is the patterns that is present in that raga, and the way he has formulated those swaras, and the speed in which he has composed those swaras, and the sahityam, the lyrical aspect for the same swara is really exemplary and very adorable. So these type of compositions is a little bit challenging to present as well, but it's really fascinating to learn all these compositions. So, and one more aspect that you can find here is his compositions are characterized by simplicity and melodiousness as well. So, despite their devotional content, his kritis can be accessible by both seasoned musicians as well as the lay listeners who just listen to music, and those people can also understand. So these are some of the contributions of Sri Syama Shastri. Moving ahead is Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar. So Muthuswami Dikshitar, he was a very well-traveled composer who journeyed to various pilgrimage sites. So enriching the knowledge and incorporating diverse influence into his music. So his compositions are majorly known for spiritual depth, intricate raga and tala structures. So it is said that we have mainly 72 major ragas in Carnatic music that has full scales, that is Sarigama Padanisa and Sanidapa Magarisa. So it is said that he has composed compositions in all the 72 ragas. And apart from the names that we have in the normal 72 raga structure, his school, he has given different names for all those 72 ragas as well. So that is one more aspect that we can see here. So his mudra, that is the Ankita Nama, is called as Guru Guha. So in all his compositions, you can find this word Guru Guha in the Charanam part. There is a second part of the composition, last part of the composition. So I forgot to mention that it was Syama Shastri for Syama Shastri's compositions as well. So his compositions incorporate the complex melodic phrases and rhythmic patterns as well. So he's traveled to many places and composed kritis on that particular deity. For example, he's composed Panchalinga kritis, that is 5 kritis on Lord Shiva, and he's composed Navagraha kritis, that is compositions on the 9 planets that we have in the universe. So these are called the Gucha kritis, that is the bunch of kritis that he's composed. So his specialities being raga exploration again, and the Sahitya, that his compositions are mostly in Sanskrit. So he has composed in many, almost all of the talas that is present in the Suladi Sapta talas, and his Sahitya is very scholarly and Sanskrit rich lyrics. So he has a very vast knowledge of mythology, ancient texts, and Sanskrit literature as well. So he's employed poetic expressions that highlight the grandeur and glory of the deities that he worshipped. So one composition I think most of you would have heard is Vatapi Ganapatim Bhaje. It's a very popular composition. I mean, it's sung all over the world, I think. So I'll just sing that and mention few unique points of his composing style. Hmm. वातापि गणपतिं भजेऽहं वातापि गणपतिं भजेऽहं वारणास्यम् वारणास्यं वरप्रदं श्रीवारणास्यं वरप्रदं श्रीवारणास्यं वरप्रदं श्रीवातापि गणपतिं भजे भजेऽहम् भूतादिसंसेवितचरणं 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 भूतभौतिकप्रपञ्चभरणं पीतरागिणं विनुतयोगिनम् वीतरागिणं विनुतयोगिनं विश्वकारणं विघ्नवारणं वीतरागिणं विनुतयोगिनं विश्वकारणं विघ्नवारणं वातापि गणपतिं भजे So, apart from all the other compositions or kritis that you've heard, one unique thing in his composition is he has the fast-paced lyrics in all his compositions. So it is called as Madhyama Kala Sahitya. So singing वातापि गणपतिं भजेऽहं वातापि. This is the normal pace in which we sing. So in the Anupallavi, there is Vitaraginam Vinutayoganam Vishwakaranam Vighavaranam Vadapi. So this lyrics is recited in a little bit faster manner, which is called as Madhyamakala Sahitya. So usually what he does is in the Charanam, there's one more segment of lyrics. Karambujapashabijappuram kalushaviduram budhakaram harati guruguhatoshidabimbam hamsadhvani bhushitaherambam. In the last line, you can observe that there's the raga name. So this composition is set to raga hamsadhvani. So Haradi Guruguha Toshita Bimbam. Guruguha is his mudra, that is Ankita Nama. Hamsadhvani Bhushita Rambam. So, in all of his compositions, in this Madhyamakala or somewhere, some or the other place in the composition, he would have included the raga in which he has composed the composition. And as all of you know, a kriti will have Pallavi, Anupallavi, and Charanam. So his kritis also have the same, have followed the same structure. But he also introduced a unique concept called as Samashti Charanam. So wherein he has composed compositions which has Pallavi and directly the Charanam. So that particular composition will not have the Anupallavi. So it will have a Charanam with normal pace followed by a Madhyamakala Sahitya. So some of the compositions, namely, might be Sri Saraswati in Arabhi. So it has a Pallavi, and then you have a Charanam followed by the Madhyamakala Sahitya, which has its Ankita Nama and Raga name as well. So actually, this Vatapi Ganapatim has a story behind it. So as I told, Muthuswami Dikshitar embarked on a pilgrimage to various sacred places as he was traveling. While he was traveling, he reached to a place called Badami, which was called as Vatapi before. It is also known as Vatapi. It is in Karnataka. So he visited the famous cave temples carved in the rocky cliffs. So it was dedicated to Lord Shiva and other deities. So it is said that while he was, discovering the magnificent cave temples, he had the divine vision of Lord Ganesha. So actually, it is said that Lord Ganesha appeared before Dikshitar in a grand and majestic form. So this presence of Lord Ganesha left a sorry, I think I was not heard. Am I audible now?
Yeah, we are able to hear.
Okay, just a second. I don't know where I lost you guys. I was telling about Sri Tyagaraja. Was it there?
Can you please present?
Yeah. I just. This one. Was I there?
You were in the Muthuswami Dikshitar slide.
Okay. Mhm. So I was telling about his English notes, which are usually composed in Raga Shankarabharana, and it encompasses all the 7 notes. So I just told. Did you guys hear about the story that I narrated behind Vatapi Ganapati Moja?
Yeah.
So next, coming to Sri Tyagaraja, I told that most of you would know about his composing style and his compositions. So the main thing is that the spiritual content and the devotion to Lord Rama that he shows in his compositions. So I'll just highlight few of his uniqueness in composing styles. So the first one is bhakti. Uh, it is actually common between all the trinities that we discussed till now. So one such composition is set to raga called Kalyani. Mm, Nidhi jala sukhama, nidhi jala sukhama, nidhi. So in this composition, what he says is, do I get happiness by singing and getting the treasure in front of emperor, or do I get happiness in singing in front of Lord Rama? He's just comparing these two things in his composition. So his compositions replicate the intense devotion and the love for Lord Rama. So he expresses his deep spiritual experiences and longing to attain the divine blessings. So the next thing is his emotional appeal. So one such composition is Endoro Mahanubhavulu. All of you would have heard about the Pancharatna Kritis that he has composed. There are 5 main Kritis in Ghanaragas. Jagadananda Karaka, Dudupugala, Sadhinchane, Kanakanarchira, and Endoro Mahanubhavulu. So Endoro Mahanubhavulu is all-time favorite for everyone because it's composed in a very beautiful raga in a beautiful manner. So it goes like Yandaro Mahanubhavulu Andariki Vandanamulu Yandaro Mahanubhavulu Andariki Vandanamulu Yandaro Mahanubhavulu. So here he actually celebrates the greatness of various saints and sages, evoking a sense of admiration for their spiritual wisdom. So he has this, he has made a remarkable ability to stir emotions in both the performer as well as the listener. So his choice of words, imagery, or it may be the expressive melodic phrases, he takes them from the joy and ecstasy to pathos and longing as well. So next thing is the ragam and sahityam integration. So while any composition is composed, the blending of the raga and the lyrics is very important. So while writing lyrics, if the raga is contradicting the emotions of the lyrics that is written, the composition will not sound good. But Sri Tyagaraja, the way he has integrated both raga and the lyrics is so profound, and it's so beautiful to listen as well. So one such composition is this is also a very popular composition. Banturiti kolu vigabaya Rama, 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 Banturiti kolu vigabaya Ra Ra Ra. So the thing that we can observe here is the blending of raga and sahitya, as I told before. And one more thing is the improvisation and the sangatis. So I sang the same line for about 6 times. So there was variation in while I repeated each of line. So Banturiti kolu vigabaya Rama, Banturiti kolu. So these variations are called as sangatis. So the way he has improvised the sangatis that he has incorporated in his compositions is really a noteworthy thing in his compositions. And apart from the normal kritis that he's composed, there are few other sorts of gucha kritis or kritis called as Utsava Sampradaya kritis. So in temples, while there is Uyala Seva or such sort of things for Lord, these type of compositions are sung. So all these sorts of compositions are the various types of contributions that he has made to Carnatic music. So this concludes the the contributions of Trinities as whole to the Carnatic music. But coming to the compositional aspects, we saw Varnam. Coming to the Kritis, I talked about the different aspects of how they composed it. So one more thing that is usually found in the concerts is the padams and the javalis. So usually these two types of compositions are used by dancers, Bharatanatyam dancers. So it's composed in a way, in a manner that they can perform those very effectively. So padam is a composition which resembles a normal kirtana structure, and it probably propagates the sentiment of divine love through the innumerable aspects of Naika, that is the heroine who acts in that particular act. So although it is strictly a dance form, it is usually sung in Carnatic music concerts as well. So because of its musical excellence, I would say. So even these padams will have Pallavi, Anupallavi, and Charanams. Coming to the Javalis, it is one of the most scintillating musical composition. It was composed, I think, during the 19th centuries. So over the course of time, Javali became an integral part of repertoire of Carnatic music for classical dances as well. So these songs of light and pleasing nature are a treatment for the intense Madhura Bhakti inherent that is present in the Padams. So this is about one more form of composition that is present in Carnatic music. So usually at the end of the concert, we present one more very special composition called as Tillana. So it's a vibrant rhythmic dance form in Indian classical music. So especially South Indian classical music. So it is performed at the end of vocal concert as well as a dance recital as well. So I will present one of them so that you can hear one of them. गीत गुनी कुदक दी माद्र गीत तुम नाच रहे गोरी दाम दम तेरा तेरा गीत गुनी कुदक दी माद्र गीत तुम नाच रहे गोरी दाम दम तेरा तेरा गीत गुनी कुदक दी पदुमनाभ तुम्हारे मनाभ तुम्हारे क्या कहूँ मैं सावरू ताप संकट हरण हारो सुख मारो तुम हारो तधिम धीरन उदनि दानी दानी तधिम धीरन. So all these are some of the key types, I would say, of key types of compositions that play a major role while we are presenting a Carnatic music. So this is the end of, here comes the end of the presentation. So I would thank all of you for joining today with this musical journey that I shared with you. And thanks again for Shrutilaya for organizing this.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone has any questions before? Because
Hi. Can you please touch upon what are Vivadi ragas?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Like what are Vivadi ragas? It was in one of the slides. So
okay, you're asking about the Vivadi ragas.
yeah.
Okay, so I would tell usually see I will just touch upon the difference about a normal raga and a Vivadi raga so that you can easily understand. So if I take a raga called Maya Malagola, so it goes like Sari Ga Ma Pa Da Ni Sa Sa Ni Da Pa Ma Ga Re Sa. This is Maya Malagola as you know. So there's one more raga called Nasika Bhushani in Carnatic music, which goes like, or you can take Chalanata. Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. So as I told, while uh, while you sing these swaras, so the difference or the distance between the each swara is very, very less. For example, pa, da, ni, sa. So to differentiate between da and ni, pa, da, ni, both are like really adjacent, and it's really difficult to find the difference between both of them. So they're very, very close and adjacent to each other. While in Maya Malagola, pa, da, ni, sa, you can easily differentiate between those swaras. So that type of ragas wherein the swaras are placed in such a manner which is very adjacent and difficult to actually find the difference between the two adjacent swaras, you can call those ragas as Vivadi ragas. So there's one composition in Nasika Bhushani. It goes like Madavairi Ramani Manju Bhashini. So its scale is Sari Gama Padani Sa Sari Gama Padani Sa Sani Da Pama Gari Sa. So difference between Ri Gama. So the space is a little less. So it's difficult to differentiate. So these types of ragas are called as Vivadi ragas.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any doubt or anything? I mean, the session was really nice because I have learned Carnatic music, and I mean it was a very good revision for me on the different types of compositions, and you like I really enjoyed listening to your voice, your singing voice also, especially when you sang that Tilana at the last. So and also when
Thank you.
you
Thank you.
yeah, so and what else, in the start the sloka also I felt like it kind of gave a very formal form, the way generally when a event starts a sloka is
Yeah.
generally sung, and somehow I felt it felt very good, and somehow I enjoyed it. I think
Thank
this
you.
is
Thank you.
a thank you note from Shrutilaya, and I hope you had a good time, and we had a
Yes.
great
Yes.
time
Of course.
and enjoy learning from you. And I think that's it. And also thanking also Ananya, who actually gave us the contact of the of Aditi Prahlad, and also Aditi as a and Ananya, who also gave a brief introduction to of the artist also. So thanks a lot, and also thanking everyone who joined the live stream. The Google Meet. Thank you everyone. I think we are really grateful to all of you joining for this meet. I think that formally concludes the meeting. If anyone has any doubts, you can always stay back and ask if you guys have any doubts.